Hello and welcome everyone again into another video. Today's video I am joined by not Rob May. We are going to go through the IV for both Zamazenta and Zacian. If you are unlucky like me and you couldn't get a hundo of either those and you would like to use any of those two in the Master League, I think this video is for you. Rob, how are you? And welcome to the channel again, our IV specialist.
I am doing great despite not streaming a lot lately. I've been playing a lot of other things, but I did play GoFest, and I am one of the lucky few to get 2 hundos of this, but that's because I had one from a long time ago, and then I went to the in-person GoFest in Osaka and Global, so I had 2 shots at it.
Okay. So you are like one of the blessed people to live close to a GoFest always.
Well, blessed people in the sense that I also had a lot of lucky trades to go through and raids, and I had some spare finances to go. Yeah,
and more chances to get Goat as well.
yeah. I think I got a decent one for Ultra League, but my Great League ones are pretty garbage for now.
Yeah,
I have to trade for some more.
I get a sick one for Ultra and trash ones for Great League. Yeah,
nice. So the same. I got one of my biggest things for the whole weekend was I got a rank 2 Tinkaton in Osaka.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
A Hundo Hisuian Basculin for the Bascule Legion release whenever that is.
Oh my god, dude.
So those are my big ones.
Yeah. My Tinkaton is basically Egg IV, by the way, if you're interested to know. But yeah.
Incredible.
Let's talk about Zacian.
Let's talk about the dogs.
Yeah, the dogs. That's why everyone's here today. Zacian and Zamazenta.
Good news for everybody. I'm happy to announce. That's
okay.
Good.
Okay, what's the good news? Can people use something that's not a hundo?
In general, when we're talking about these Pokemon, if you have a really bad one, you can run kind of like for Zamazenta in particular. If you've got like a pretty bad one, you're just like, okay, well, I'm gonna lucky trade, and my lucky trade was a 15, 12, 12. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You got the attack stat that you need in order to have the coin flip chance. Well, as long as you put a best buddy ribbon and use it, that thing can pick up some pretty unique stuff. It's a good one to use as long as you're running Ice Fang.
Okay, so step 1, we need 15 attack. That's a must. We're not gonna go anything below 15 attack. We're not gonna like, because if you drop the 15 attack, you're gonna drop the mir. That's not worth it. So step number 1, you need a 15 attack. Correct?
Yeah, I would say that's just my general philosophy. There are people in the comments every video for anything that talks about IVs with Master League. That's just a thing. If you want to be that person that runs your 98 because it's got 14 attack and you're just going to never try to CMP them, that's your prerogative.
Okay.
That is definitely a strategy that you can do. But what I do when I do these spreads is that most people are just trying to make sure they get the coin flip at the very least.
Yeah, because if you still pick up like some matchups and you drop them in, and for Zamazenta, I have some bad news. It's number 1 Pokemon on PvPoke, 98.5. Dude, that's some sick ranking, dude. This Pokemon almost does not drop any matchup. So you don't want to drop the Mir, because that's literally like dropping every match, like at least one matchup every game, because everyone's gonna have this Pokemon. It's number 1. It's the best. Okay,
so good.
I'm sorry. So let's go for Zamazenta. I think you did some hard work, so which I do appreciate. Thank you so much for doing that. You've discussed both fast moves, whether it's Metallic Claw or Ice Fang, and there seem to be lots of matchups that here we see, like lots of math, lots of sims. What do we know? What do we need to know about in the Zamazenta with Metallic Claw?
So if you want to just talk about this without looking too much in the details here, if you can get the 15 attack with 13, 14, you're going to pick up probably the most important things. So if you really, really need to just build something, you're like, just give it to me straight. What's the damage? 15, 13, 14 will do it for you. That'll get you most of the most important stuff off the top. And the things that you're getting with that is a 0 shield matchup against Solgaleo, which is just around the grading corner.
Yeah.
For a lot of people. And that's going to be a really good enemy for Zamazenta to face up against, and it'll also let you, if you want to just safe swap into your Zamazenta and then you get counter swapped with Landorus. If you go down 2 shields, you can win it. So the 15, 13, 14, that's like your absolute bail me out of jail type stat IV spread.
So 50, yeah, you know how I see it, like from Dude Sams, 15, 13, 14 does not drop matchups that you win by having a hundo. So the bare minimum, if you want to keep winning these matchups, 15, 13, 14, anything less, as an example, you would drop Snorlax, Shadow Hyperior, Landorus, Zekrom, Zygarde, Palkia, Solgaleo. These are like literally the only Pokemons that exist in the meta. So best at minimum 15.
Yeah, I think that's definitely your minimum. And also like there's a lower stat spread, but it just shows you just how good this Pokemon is that you can start beating Lunala, which is like surprisingly good Pokemon moving forward when it comes out.
It is coming out.
You'll be able to pick that up with that baseline as well. But then like if you really want to start getting into the weeds of this particular one and you have a better one, a 15, 14, 14 will pick up a lot more stuff when you have the best buddy ribbon on Zamazenta with Metal Claw. Like Zacian was saying, that gets you Zygarde, that gets you Zekrom, that gets you Palkia Origin, it gets you Solgaleo, and it gets you the mirror match if you want to win against Zamazenta that's not best buddied. That's how you can do it.
Yeah, like as far as a Metal Claw option now, like you don't drop any matchup that the hundo would like comparing to a hundo, which mean like there is actually a good flex like if you want to build it, because getting a hundo from a lucky trade is difficult. Getting a 15, 13, 14 is much easier than getting a hundo. I'm assuming you can get this with like 3-4 trades. And you talked about Lunala. Lunala is coming to raid, which is actually great news. And it's a Pokemon that destroys so many meta Pokemons. Look, it beats Dialga, it beats Crown, Zacian. It's good into Zamazenta as well. Sorry, Zacian and Zamazenta, Dialga, Palkia, Kyogre, Primarina. It beats so many Pokemons. You wouldn't like to drop this. And if you see this one, it's a very close matchup that any drop on the IVs on either side means you're gonna drop that, right? And you don't want to do that.
Yeah, there's also some weird stuff with Melmetal, and the reason I'm bringing up Melmetal is it's such a unique Pokemon into this, with not really having too much issues throwing some attacks at Zamazenta, because you've got the superpowers, you've got good bait moves, you've got the stat at the bottom where you're down 1 versus 2 against Melmetal that has the traditional Rock Slide superpower. You actually can win that with a 15, 13, 14 as long as you're like not even using your ribbon. And then if you do have the ribbon, you can beat the double Iron Bash superpower one in the 2s flat, depending on if they're throwing their superpowers at before you can hit them back. Really, it's kind of superpower is such a weird one, and that's kind of like our big disclaimers between superpower and close combat. Close combats, you basically the Sims start doing some weird stuff. So I would just take everything as a grain of salt when it comes to some of these matchups when they're really narrow wins or narrow losses. Sometimes they get modified pretty quickly if you're not throwing your attacks back to back.
Yeah, that's like the main thing. And now, like, because of the dogs, Rhyperior is running different moveset than what we used to see. I've seen Rhyperior with superpower as well, so you want to pay attention to that. I've seen Rhyperior with surf as well. So like you can't close combat earlier or superpower earlier in the fight. And I know some people say like Melmetal is irrelevant. It's actually relevant. I tried it in Master League and I went like 14 and 15. Like I had 14 wins in 15 matchups because people were just so weak to this Pokemon. Like in the same matchups, I would queue into a Palkia and a Black Kyurem as an example, and Melmetal can actually beat both.
It's good against the ice types. It's good against Ho-Oh, even though you're taking super effective damage.
Yep.
It's relatively okay against
all the dragons. You beat all the dragons.
Yeah, exactly. And it's good against the fairies.
Yeah, if Zacian close, like the matchup against Zacian, like you can close combat and then dip. You can also wait, superpower and then dip. You can wait until they close combat, shield, and double superpower and then dip. There is like so much flex for that
it's a very
Pokemon.
Versatile Pokemon with a 50 second switch timer ever since.
Exactly. Like even the matchup against Rhyperior, they doubled his Thunder Shock, but then you have superpower with super effective. You have double Iron Bash. You can hit it for like either move will do 50% of the Rhyperior's health, even though it's a move that you get in 4 to 5 fast moves, which is actually sick. Now the Ice Fang.
With Zamazenta, I think it's really important to realize that if you're gonna go for upper echelon IV spreads that are non-hundos, the one you want to go for is that 15, 15, 14 pseudo hundo, because there's a really unique matchup against Shadow Rhyperior. When you're down a shield, you can actually win. It's kind of insane.
So
that
number
you can
one,
actually beat Shadow Rhyperior.
number one
if you
suggestion is a hundo, right?
Yeah, the hundo will also pick that up.
Number two, 15, 15, 14.
Number two.
The worst you could invest in without dropping matchups is
15, 13, 14.
best buddy or non-best buddy, or always best buddy.
The 15, 13, 14 is the bare minimum for non-best buddy and for best buddy, ironically.
Okay, yeah,
Works for both.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed today that PvPoke took my suggestion and they started running Ice Fang on Zamazenta, and then Zamazenta moved from being number 3, I think, into being number 1 because Ice Fang does damage. Metal Claw does not do that much damage. So we are talking about different matchups now and probably also different IVs. So
Yeah.
what does the Ice Fang pick up and the Metal Claw doesn't pick up?
Well,
I think there is one matchup.
Before we really talked about the IV spreads, we talked about Ice Fang because it was good against specific stuff, regardless of the IVs. Right?
Yes.
So the big thing that you will be able to get when you're running Ice Fang is that you can, if you invest a shield and your opponent does not use any shields, you can straight up beat Mewtwo with Focus Blast, and you can beat any Ho-Oh with a 15, 12, 12. Like, you just can do some really dumb stuff in those matchups.
Yeah.
And then, if you have a spread that we mentioned prior, the 15, 13, 14 spread, with the best buddy ribbons going, you can win the mirror if it has Metal Claw or Ice Fang. You can win Dawnwing's Necrozma.
Oh
with
my god.
Ice Fang.
Oh my
And
god.
you can win a matchup that is there's like some baseline that the Aster and I started memeing when we were talking about the data, because for some reason Shadow and normal Mamoswine with Powder Snow kept popping up as something that would just be able to beat you sometimes.
Oh.
And I don't know how relevant that would necessarily be, but it was very, very funny when we found it.
Because it has
It just kept
Icicle,
showing
right?
up.
It has Icicle or Triple Axle, one of those move, Icicle Spear or Triple Axle. So like,
Oh, we're not even simming that. It's just when it's running Powder Snow only. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know why, but it just gets to the moves faster at better timing or something against you.
Yeah, I think what Ice Fang probably like give you the best. This is like my my take about Ice Fang. You use Zamazenta to bait out Zacian's counters, except that those Zacian counters would lose to Zamazenta. As an example, if you safe swap Zamazenta, let's say they bring in Ho-Oh because that's their only counter. Ho-Oh has to shield a close combat, and if you're using Zacian Zamazenta, that means you're leading Palkia, and then Palkia would farm down the Ho-Oh if they decide to shield. So the opponent will always be left with, they have two bad options, and they have to choose the less worse option, or like
Right.
right. Yeah, like you don't expect your Ho-Oh to shield.
Like when we're talking about Zamazenta, you just also win Mewtwo.
Yeah,
in the
that's dumb.
without as long as they don't have Focus Blast in the ones, you just win it. And then if you see the mirror match and they're running Metal Claw and you're running Ice Fang, you just win.
Hey, Niantic.
So this is the best way for you to say, do I want to invest in my Zamazenta? A, is it bad? If it's bad, just power it up and use it with Ice Fang. If it's good, then you can consider having the option of running with either.
Yeah.
If it's bad, you get an Ice Fang option.
I think what Metal Claw like just it provides you with a better Zacian matchup. Okay, Ice Fang does everything else better. Like the Palkia matchup is awkward with the Metal Claw.
Better safe swap too.
Yes, it's a much better safe swap with Ice Fang. Now, looking at these matchup, Focus Blast, Ho-Oh, Mamoswine, Downwing, Necrozma, Mamoswine, Mir. What is the ideal one for Ice Fang? Because I see like something here we didn't have before, which is 15, 12, 12.
So the 15, 12, 12 was just mentioned in that 1 versus 0 to show you that was the lowest thing that I simmed, was basically a lucky traded one that's like got the attack you're looking for with the worst defensive and the HP stats. If you've got the worst one of those type things that I just mentioned, then you still get all of the matchups. So again, if you're running the worst one, that's what I consider the worst one, is a 15, 12, 12. that'll break you even with the best buddy version to beat face of Focus Blast, Mewtwo, and Ho-Oh. But I think for me, if you just want to like look at all these lines that include Shadow Mamoswine and just kind of delete them from your memory banks, that's probably okay for you to do because the 15,
pretend
13,
this one
14 is
doesn't
the only thing
exist.
left.
So if we pretend
Yeah, and then the one
Mamoswine
up
doesn't
here.
exist,
Yeah, you also don't need this one anymore.
yeah,
You
and
just take this one away.
we pretend this one doesn't exist.
Yep.
We're back to the same IVs actually. The 15, 13, 14 best buddy.
Exactly.
That's actually
So
good.
If you've got that, then you've got a good one for both. But again, you don't really need it as much for this. This is kind of like, cool, I pick up 2 new best buddy, or I get 3 best buddy matchups that I didn't normally have. But again, do you need them? Who knows? Do you want to win against the mirror up a shield? Do you want to win against Mewtwo with Focus Blast? Do you want to win the mirror in the ones?
I think the difficult decision now is like people be like, oh, which one should I best buddy? Well, it depends on your IVs. If you don't have a good Zamazenta and this is your best Zamazenta, then I think you have to best buddy Zamazenta. Otherwise, you're gonna drop lots of matchups. Like, if you take a look here, they all need the best buddy with the 15, 13, 14. So now we made like if you are here for the if you're here for the Zamazenta IV, 15, 13, 14 with best buddy is your lowest or your bare minimum for a good Zamazenta, according to Mr. Rob.
Yes, sir.
Can you confirm?
Yeah, that's fine. Works for me.
Okay, now moving to Zacian, which I'm assuming people have better Zacian IVs than Zamazenta because Zacian has always been the better dog. And people have rated it way more than Zamazenta because Zacian has always been meta, has always been good, while Zamazenta is just good now. I see way more matchups. Is there anything you would like to walk us through here, Rob?
So I want to, this is a lot of information. So like kind of at the outset, a lot of these names don't really matter. So the only things you really need to pay attention
I don't
to
care
is the
about
1
this.
versus 2 shield against Kyurem Black. That's really the only thing we need to look at.
I don't care about this. I don't care about this or this. Black Kyurem. This one.
So all the way down at the 1 versus 2, you can see that. That's the information you want. The 15, 14, 13 will allow you to beat Kyurem Black with Shadow Claw when you are down a shield.
Oh, that's insane.
And then if you have the Zacian best buddied, the 1 versus 2, the IVs don't matter anymore for you.
Oh, that's actually...
Your IVs don't matter anymore.
Yeah, that's actually a great info because now we can just focus on best buddying the Zamazenta if we have better than 15, 14, 13.
So if you get the 15, 14, 13 Zacian, then you best buddy your Zamazenta, you run the double dog, and you're okay. You're safe against the Kyurem if you want to use it there. The other thing you can pick up with that IV spread is the one below it is a very weird one. But because you have the correct stats, you can actually pick up Dragon Breath Gyarados in the 0-1.
I don't care about that.
And you have a identical spread in the 2 versus 2 to also win against Kyurem Black. So if you go up to the 3rd bullet point here, you can win Kyurem Black Shadow Claw without your ribbon as well if you go into the 2s. So if you want to be down a shield 1 versus 2, of course you can win it with that spread. But if you happen to accidentally spend your other shield, you still win anyways, right? That's kind of like, hey, cool, you still win, but you know, if you really need it, those are really the main ones. Now, here's the eerie thing about this is that when you start wanting to see what the next step up is, you're like, okay, well, if the next one up is the Hundo, then I'll build this one. You kind of have to take a step back because if Metagross becomes meta relevant again, especially Shadow Metagross, you really need to start getting a 98 or basically a pseudo Hundo, because the 98 and the Hundo are essentially the same stat spreads for this Pokemon, because you pick up Bullet Punch Metagross and you can also pick up Waterfall Gyarados, which is very weird, but Waterfall Gyarados is a big threat to you because you just have nothing to hit it.
Yeah, these are like, if you play like Master League tournaments, you actually have to care about Metagross and Gyarados because those are like usually low point picks and they always exist on every team. But if you just like play GBL and you're a casual PvPer, I actually like this idea of the 15, 14, 13. But as you said, if Metagross is meta, then you need a hundo. Yeah, that's like, there's no debate about that. You can't drop this matchup.
One thing to consider when you're running a Zacian, just to let you guys know, I had simmed Close Combat and Behemoth Blade. I didn't really do Close Combat and
Giga
Play
Impact.
Rough. What's that?
Giga Impact.
Giga Impact, yes. No, but it does have a Play Rough moveset that I did toy around with when it first came out, and I feel like it was more relevant when not many people had
Yes.
Zacian
You
and
need
Zamazenta. But now that both dogs are out in droves for anyone,
Exactly.
I think that the Play Rough is going to lose a lot more of its value. But who knows? Maybe I've been a little short-sighted with our kind of discussion here. But
I think we provide enough input about the Zamazenta that, like, okay, your Zamazenta is whatever, like you can just go for the 15, 13, 14, but for Zacian, try to go for as much as better. Like, you can invest on whatever Zacian if it's 15, 14, 13, but your end goal is to get the hundo or the 15, 15, 14, because you don't want to drop a matchup to Metagross. And the fact that you can beat Metagross by itself is just insane. You're doing resisted and the neutral damage, while like Metagross is doing neutral damage from two of the best moves in the entire game: Bullet Punch and Meteor Mash. Two of the best in the game. Like no. Metal Claw is the worst, one of the worst to steal moves. Bullet Punch is one of the best to steal moves. One is resisted, one is neutral, and you still have a chance to beat it. So I would say try to get the 15, 15, 14 Zacian and forget about everything else here. But you can always, as Rob said, the 15, 15, 14, 13 is kind of like your bare minimum, as we said here.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
One thing you're going to know of the Zacian here as we kind of close the Zacian discussion is what you're not seeing. The thing that you're not seeing is Zacian winning against Zamazenta in this matchup list.
Yes.
None of these spreads are going to give you that. And there's a lot of options you have to go below 100% Zamazenta to pick up Zacians. So that's why we're emphasizing the Zamazenta up front. It's higher ranked. It beats Zacian. It can beat itself with Ribbon. I think it's more like ridiculous matchups.
It's more like you can't play Master League without Zamazenta. It's the best safe swap, right? You could also say it's the best lead as well, because it's spammier than Zacian. Zacian's the best closer. You need shields down for this Behemoth Blade. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm really glad that this is out now, because now my lack of having a good Kyurem is no longer a problem. Can just run the dogs.
Exactly. You couldn't, in the past, you couldn't play Master League without a Black Kyurem or Palkia. Now, I think you need the Zamazenta to play Master League. Also, you need the Zacian as well. But
people are going to be targeting these things, so you got to be aware of what. Let's maybe talk in the very end of this is like, what do you expect to see in order to counteract these problem dogs? Well,
there is two Pokemons, or like, okay, there is number one Pokemon Ho-Oh, which has one goal: target the dogs. Palkia number two, which targets what targets the dogs. So Palkia counters the anti meta stuff. You can also say Kyogre about the same about Kyogre, but Palkia is just a much superior Kyogre. And then there is Rhyperior, which is like the free-to-play option. The problem with Rhyperior is, like, in the matchups against the dogs, you see the power creep, like, walking, fighting in front of you. To the point where, like, I don't think you can run Rock Ricker anymore on Rhyperior. I don't know. I don't like Rock Ricker anymore on Rhyperior.
I'll give you some fun ones to consider. So one of the things that we came up with here is, of course, Solgaleo, which is coming in a couple weeks.
It's coming to raids.
You have to look up that. We did see that if someone is not running a Hundo Zacian, that you can abuse them with Waterfall Gyarados. So
okay, that's another one.
You can also, in the listed sims, Garchomp with Mudshot and Earth Power wins in the 2 shields against Zacian.
Oh, it's actually a good counter. Yeah, it's actually a good counter.
One. Shadow and normal Excadrill are also very interesting ones, but they actually have enough damage to kind of chip pretty heavily into Palkia.
Wait, you lose to Zacian? Wait, Ixka beats Zama and lose to Zacian. Let's just take a look at this.
Exca should be able to beat Zacian in the 2 shields.
Yeah, you win the 2. So it doesn't matter. You can slap it all the way down.
Yeah, sorry. Garchomp, sorry, I misspoke. Garchomp with Mudshot loses. Dragon Tail with Sand Tomb wins, which is weird. So yeah, let's go to the ones here. Maybe we can come up with some fun stuff here. So yeah, Excadrill will win the ones. Dragonite has the capability of doing some pretty interesting things. Oh no,
Dragonite is like the second option for the Palkia, you know, like
Do we think that Groudon is going to have enough of a resurgence?
No, the problem with the Groudon is Ice Fang.
Yes.
Yeah, you run Ice Fang Zamazenta now.
As well is going to lose the Ice Fang. You just
that's why you run Ice Fang. It's like you beat the dragons, like all of them.
Yeah.
And the matchup into Palkia, like it's just so depressing. Let me just show you. Zama just does take no damage. Okay, let's just have a white Kyurem here. Okay, let's go to Palkia.
Can't even run Mewtwo anymore. Sad.
They need to buff Psycho Cut to be
here's the one I was thinking of. Reshiram.
Oh yeah, Reshi. Yeah, Reshi. I think Reshi is the secret sauce now. Yeah. Aquatail from
Reshiram.
Aquatail from Palkia does 24%. 24% to Zama. And the Dragon Breath does 2 damage only for a Pokemon at 170. Reshi, I think Reshi is the one we were talking about. Because you resist, and then you have a Fusion Flare, right? Oh, Fire Fang. Wait, PvPoke has it with Fire Fang.
Fang or Dragon Breath, both win.
Yeah, because with Fire Fang you still beat Ho-Oh and both Kyurems, and Zacian and Necrozma. Hey, that's the meta.
Yeah, the difference between that is that the 1 shields, that's really all you're going to see. But when you get into the 2 shields, I think Dragon Breath Reshi drops off.
Yeah.
I think you can win.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the Zacian Zamazenta video. Rob, just to sum up here, for Metal Claw, 15, 13, 14, that is best buddy. And for the Ice Fang, 15, 13, 14, that is a best buddy for the Zamazenta. Zacian, 15, 14, 13, but try to get the 15, 15, 14. Am I right?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rob, for joining me today. I'm sorry for keeping you up until 2 a.m.
It's all good. I would be up in bed anyways.
Where can people find you out?
So if you'd like to find me, I'm on X with the tag NotRob. You can find me streaming on Twitch with NotRobMay.
You can find it in the description below.
Yeah, I'm probably down there. If you would like to ask some additional questions, I know that people are always high anxiety when they've spent money in the game or they've rated for something over investing a lot of their time instead of their money. So it's reasonable. Like I try to not be impatient when people are asking building questions, just because it is anxiety filling when you are like, should I finally spend my XLs in this 15, 13, 14 Pokemon? Yes, I get it. So bring on the questions. We'll see what we can do to help you out.
Okay, I think he will tweet also. You will tweet the results, so I will also include that tweet in the description below, so you can always go and ask your questions there.
I'll make sure to tweet it out tomorrow or something.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rob, for joining me. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching. This is the end of the video. Don't forget to like the video if you like the content, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And we will catch you all in the next video. Peace.